Hey everyone, welcome to 5 Facts with Danny. That's me, I'm Danny. And we've officially had our first snow here in Milwaukee. Winter is here. And so of course I'm thinking about my favorite winter animals. And one of my favorite winter animals stands out bright and beautiful against the white landscape covered in snow. And that of course is the Northern Cardinal. Northern Cardinal is a very popular bird. Almost everyone knows it and recognizes it instantly. It's the state bird for 7 of the 50 United States. But there are so many more cool things about this bird, and today I'd like to share 5 of them with you. So, without further ado, 5 facts about the Northern Cardinal. Let's do it! Fact number 1. You know that I like to talk about names. So the name Northern Cardinal, the English name for the bird, first came from American colonists when they first came over to North America, first observed this bird. It's unclear whether they gave it the name because cardinal meant the color red, or cardinal referred to the religious figures in the Catholic Church, cardinals. But what we do know is that the color cardinal did come from the religious figures, so it does eventually come back to that, those Catholic cardinals from the church who wore red on their robes. That's why that red color is associated with cardinals. The term cardinals for the religious figures came from the Latin root cardo. Cardo means hinge. And the reason why cardinals have this word hinge as their root is because so much of the important work in the Vatican City hinges on the cardinals, including the selection of the Pope. Now there are a number of other common names for the Northern Cardinal that you might hear, including redbird, Virginia nightingale, and my personal favorite, the red blue jay. Fact number 2. You've probably heard about how flamingos maintain their bright pink feathers based off the food that they're eating, and the same is true for the Northern Cardinal. Well, the males anyways. The males are the bright red birds that we're so familiar with, and they maintain that bright red color by eating things like dogwood berries, grapes, fruits that have red in them. When they eat those red foods, it gets into their digestive system, and the red pigments gets absorbed into their bloodstreams and ultimately makes its way out to their feathers. If they don't maintain a good diet with lots of red pigments in it, then they will eventually lose that bright red coloration over time. Fact number 3. Northern Cardinals sing loud and they sing often. If you've ever gone for a hike in the Wisconsin woods in the winter and springtime, you've probably heard them singing. So there are 2 parts of their song. To me, it sounds like they're saying birdie, birdie, birdie. And then the second part sounds like the missile on a spaceship going pew, pew, pew. So if you ever hear those sounds, that is the song of the Northern Cardinal. Now they're one of the few North American bird species where both the males and the females will sing a song to each other. It's part of their mating ritual, and it's a way for them to communicate information about where they're getting food, where the nest is located, important things like that. The male and female song are very similar, but the female song does tend to be a little bit longer and a little bit more complex. Fact number 4. Northern Cardinals are one of the few species where we can regularly observe a really cool phenomenon called gynandromorphy. So, what happens is when the bird is first developing, the first cell division happens, and an error happens so that one cell ends up being male and the other cell ends up being female. And then that male cell will replicate into all male cells. Female cell will replicate into all female cells. And it ends up that right down the middle of this bird's body, the one half is male and the other half is female. Now because Northern Cardinals are sexually dimorphic, meaning that males and females look different, we're able to see this happen in these gynandromorphic birds, where we'll see a bird that's split right down the middle, and one half will be the bright red of a male, and one half will be that more yellowy color of a female. It's a very cool phenomenon that we can observe in these birds, and it's very cool when we can find one out in nature. And fact number 5. Northern Cardinals are regular visitors to bird feeders. So if you live in the range of the Northern Cardinal, which is pretty much the entire central and eastern United States, if you set out a bird feeder, there's a good chance that a Northern Cardinal will come visit. If you want to increase your chances of seeing a Northern Cardinal, put sunflower seeds in your bird feeder. They love sunflower seeds. Now, if you're in the northern part of the country where we have these cold winters, if you're going to set a bird feeder out during the winter, it's very important that you keep that feeder filled throughout the winter because birds will come to rely on that as a food source. Food is very hard to come by during the winter, and if they start to rely on your bird feeder for food, you need to make sure you're replenishing that. That way they can stay healthy and well-fed throughout these cold months. But if you do so with sunflower seeds, there's a good chance that you'll have both some bright red males, some bright yellow females, and who knows, maybe a gynandromorphic cardinal coming and visiting your bird feeder. And so there you have it, 5 facts about the Northern Cardinal. These beautiful and iconic species are all over the place in the wintertime. So get outside, go see if you can find some cardinals, listen for their song, look for their different coloration patterns, and let us know at the Urban Ecology Center. Send us your favorite cardinal pictures because we'd love to see what you're seeing out there. Until the next one, thanks for watching. Bye.